I met with some people that are associated with part of the Texas 4000, which is a group that is more than just raising money by riding 4,000 miles on bicycles from Austin, Texas to Anchorage, Alaska. They're teaching young people leadership skills and about commitment and perseverance and overcoming obstacles. We came out of that really, I think, with an appreciation for each other and what we're trying to do. And I haven't really accomplished that much yet. They're very accomplished. Check out their website at I think it's www.texas4000.org.
So Texas 4000 is a leadership development organization, and it's for UT students, University of Texas at Austin, who apply to be part of this program, and it culminates with a 70-day bike ride from Austin, Texas to Anchorage, Alaska.
I had the opportunity of riding with Texas 4000 last summer. I was on the Ozarks route, and we got to stay with a lot of families. We got to speak at hospitals. We got to meet cancer patients, and it was an amazing opportunity for us to share our stories, experience a lot of healing for the different ways that cancer has affected us, and just see the world for what it is and the kindness that there is out there.
So when I first meet the kids that come into Texas 4000 or students, they don't exactly know what they're getting into. They know it's a very long bike ride. They know there's a lot of fundraising components. They know there's a lot of volunteerism that they need to do in the community. And what I find that over the 18 months, they gain this stronger sense of self. They gain a much better sense of philanthropy and nonprofits and the world around them. And they learn a lot about cancer research that's being done. All aspects, conflict resolution, in some senses almost sales as part of the fundraising. So many different areas of development that they gain skills in. And then what happens on the summer ride is that they just are surrounded by the goodness of other people. And so I think what they learn about kindness and the generosity of others, it changes who they are, and they want to become more like that. In my experience, the ones I've kept up with, the students I've kept up with from the past couple of years have gone on to do bigger and better things. That's one of the things we say when they cross the finish line in Alaska. Don't let this be the best thing you've ever done.
So figuring out, where you're going to stay, how you're going to reach out to the most people, make the most impact that you can, is a challenge by itself. And once you get on the road, just finding it in yourself to get up every morning, knowing that you're going to be on the bike all day and you're going to be tired, but when you have the opportunity to meet a person or tell your story, tell it with the same enthusiasm, and listen to theirs in turn, because we want to be an advocate for the fight against cancer.
I'm the principal and founder of Philanthropy Ventures. Philanthropy Ventures is a startup company that I began in January of 2015, and my primary goal is to work with organizations, nonprofits primarily, to help them build infrastructure and then to create sound development practices. One of the ways that I do that is to assess their existing infrastructure, and then I work on refining or defining what their strategic plan is for long-term development, and then I work with executive directors, board members to actually implement those plans. I came to know the Lazarex Cancer Foundation several years ago and was immediately drawn to their mission of connecting patients with clinical trials. And when I found out that Eric was riding through Austin on a bike to promote what he wants to do in terms of raising awareness of, in this case, pancreatic cancer, but the importance of clinical trials, I immediately thought about connecting him to Texas 4000, and we've spent a great afternoon having the two organizations meeting.
I personally believe in taking any tough experience in life and using it as a platform and allowing it to help you serve other people. And so I really admire what he's doing through his wife's experience and through his experience, and I think he'll certainly bring awareness to pancreatic cancer and to what needs to be done in that space. So I think he's got a rough road ahead of him, physically, mentally, emotionally, but he seems like he's up for the challenge, and he's got a good support team.
I think the PCVT is amazingly ambitious. I know that 70 days for us sounded like a long time, but Eric is taking on something that is even grander in scale and longer. So I think that with the faith and the hope that he has, being able to do it by himself, I know that is something that I would have really struggled with. I counted a lot on the support of my teammates, but he faces unique challenges in taking this on by himself. But I think that with that inner strength that is so evident, like just hearing him talk, I think he can do anything. I think it'll test him in ways that he doesn't even realize just yet. Writing for 8 days is dramatically different from writing 16 days to writing 32 days. It never gets any easier to get on the bike. You get fitter, the route will change, but it never gets easier to get up and ride 75 miles. But I think he has an amazing story. I think that he has a ton of love for his wife, for humanity, and I mean, if anyone can do it, Eric can.
I get to work with truly the best of humanity on a daily basis, and I think what Eric is doing and the way that he's approaching his life is an example of the best of humanity. What he is trying to do absolutely requires a faith in a higher power. And what I've noticed, not only in my conversation with Eric, but with others that are involved in the cancer community, is that when one tries to take on an endeavor like what Eric is doing, things will happen that you cannot possibly predict. And I think that mimics the cancer experience so beautifully and not subtly at all. The fact is, when one goes through a cancer diagnosis and cancer treatment, there are things that are going to happen that they are completely powerless over, and it's much like what Eric is tackling. He can be as planned as possible and have his entire logistics lined out. He can have his map lined out, and it is inevitable that something greater than himself could happen, like the bike, right? And so it's going to take that conviction in a power greater than himself to get him through those days when he's tired, when things don't go the way he predicted. And my hope for him is that he will be able to recognize how similar his journey on a bike is mimicking Liz's journey with pancreatic cancer.